Share Conference presents Vuk Ćosić.
Hi, this is working. Hello, I'm Vuk, I'm some guy, I'm an archaeologist. I'm gonna talk to you. So let's see. I'm invited here as a net artist, some senior citizen dealing with some art form 15 years ago or more. And I'm gonna give you a few necessary introductory notes about that animal, and then we're gonna see what it's worth today, I hope. So let's understand the time frame. I liked the other slide the other day. This thing was meaningful and was happening somewhere between these two dates, between 94, when we all kicked off, several months after we got civilian internet in the shape of World Wide Web, and all until 98, when we had this big press conference declaring the death of Net.art. In the meantime, all kinds of crap happened. We were doing our thing and we got massively appropriated, like right away, within the mainstream of art world. So let's see. This is what the thing was all about. We had aims, we had ambition. We said to ourselves, okay, let's deal with these three main things. Our approach was to deal with hardware, software, and the connection between these things, the net itself. Then also, less hackerly people, less computer-oriented people were dealing with the crowd, the people, the psychology, and the organizations. That was another objective. And the third that was kind of keeping us all together was the dealing or the fucking around with the art world. I believe we've done our share of great destructive and deconstructive deeds against all three of these sets. I think they're very important. And let me see again how it looks for you. This took a lot of energy to make this ASCII work in the background. Okay. All right. So, to kind of keep it short for you, our belief is well summarized with this sentence. We actually believe that the art was only a substitute for internet. So everything that was going on in the history of art, all up to our times, was just an attempt to bring the artists and the creative people to that level where we as a generation finally got a chance to play, which is internet. It's kind of extreme. Let's see some more stuff. First, I'm going to show you other artists, very briefly, just names, so you remember senior citizens. Hello, world. First name, always the first name to mention, and you should Google these guys, are the Jodi. This is just an example, a tiny little example that you cannot really see because we have a lot of white light here. They're the craziest people around. I'm 45 years old now. I met a lot of people, and still they're the craziest. And I think you should give them a chance and go and Google that name and check that shit out. Another guy, a rather sick individual as well, is Heath Bunting. He's been around here. I know he's done a show and lectures in Novi Sad, but also he's been to Belgrade. You should check him out as well. This is his old desktop from '97. And the third, absolutely absurdly sick individual that I insist on mentioning is my dearest friend Alexei from Moscow. And by special request, I'm going to play a little bit of his music. Alexei invented this.
All the hills are brown, and the sky is gray.
I cried when I heard this for the first time.
I've been for a walk on a winter's day. Nice, this I've been warm, if I was in LA. California dreaming.
What you're hearing now is a 386 computer. None of you know what that is. Was bought for like 5 rubles in the Moscow flea market. It was ancient 20 years ago. And the sound is done by synchronizing text-to-speech on top of some MIDI. And this is eternal, man. Now we're going to fly through just 2 or 3 pieces I've done because I'm on the stage, so I get the monopoly. So here we go. One thing is this thing called the history of art for the airports. I've just done a short series of little airport icons based on the iconic images from history of art. You should actually check it online. I'm only showing you a few of these. This is, of course, a Venus of Milo. This is this toothpick commercial, Saint Sebastian. Pietà, of course, Duchamp, and finally this guy, Warhol. I thought you might appreciate that. Then, this is slightly more conceptual, maybe a bit of a proof of all these aims, You see, back in '97, there was this little village exhibition in a small town in Germany called Documenta. They do it every 5 years, and it's very serious, of course. And that year, Net.art being such a fresh, new, sharp thing, they decided to take some of it and show it in their big space, which was good, felt good. But then somehow about a month just before the closing of the exhibition, the clever Germans decided to take the whole website off the show with a lot of commissioned work offline and sell it as a CD in a museum shop. Now that was a very bad thing to say. And so with a little help of my friends, I managed to make a full copy of that website. And the same night when the press release came out saying, "Hello world, we're taking the website offline, please come to our museum shop and buy a CD-ROM," I managed to publish another press release using the same mailing list throughout everywhere, saying, well, unfortunately not true, the website is still alive and it's on my website now. And that was the first ever act of appropriation. I got some awards for it and I felt very good. I've shown it in other big exhibitions. It was shown in Venice Biennial, so I made a big loop. But the trick was, you see, for those of you who went to some art history, this could be called the ready-made détourné. Now here you have Duchamp and Debord together in one sentence. You have this whole concept of ready-made turned upside down, where I've tried to prove that internet art is outside context when you put it in a gallery. And I think it works quite well. So leave art where it should be, and gallery is the last place to put it. You see, this was rather radical, 15 years ago? Hey, Eniak, zdrav. As a friend of mine. I didn't see you before. Hi, how are you? Okay, let's see some more shit. Sometime around, as I said, '98, we were in all these big exhibitions and collections and media. We've toured around, and that felt bad. We discovered that we were not invited to exhibit because of some serious or deep understanding of what our mission is, but simply because we fit in some categories by the stupid curators and other, art administration. Like, oh, we have one gay guy this year, we have one deprivileged, in some other fashion, vulnerable group, this or that, and we have a computer guy in our museum. I felt bad as a statistics, and so did all of us, the rest of the guys. We decided to declare death of net art, bada boom. And I moved on to this new thing called ASCII art. ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, existed since ages, since '63. It's actually the first real deal, the first protocol, the first agreement between computer people to use the same character set in '61. And ASCII art, the ability to make little designs of these letters where it looks cute as a Christmas card, became a part of hacker folklore very early on. I like to call all of that naive ASCII art. And I said, okay, let's do this for real. So I went on to make this new evolution of computer graphics as if Ivan Sutherland never existed, as if there was no rasters or vectors. And so here comes ASCII moving image, which was the first ever. And it's kind of important to say that it was programmed by a guy who's supposed to be here today. And this same Luca that was mentioned earlier in the Ludmila talk. He's a very mysterious person, and he's a younger brother of Kaiser Soze. Okay, so here goes a little bit of ASCII movie. If it will work, it does. This is a clip from Deep Throat. You might know this classic. On the left is Linda Lovelace. She plays Linda Lovelace. On the right is Harry Reams. He plays the doctor. Can you see that here? No, you cannot. Can you? All right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's the key scene. And back then in '72, when this epic film was made, pornography was very clever. It wasn't just anatomy and gymnastics. And this key sequence happens only in 23rd minute of the film, which is the furthest I ever arrived in a porn. And it's great. All right, enough of that shit. Okay, so here's another little bonus track. This one's for you, Bruce. Also, the big pixels were. This is one of the side things. This is can you see anything? I think you can. This is a group portrait of me, my dear wife, and our kids many years ago, 10 years ago. Just regular, photo and then done in ASCII. But the trick is that I played with it, and this one's for you. And this is the same thing, only in Cyrillic ASCII. And another one in Hebrew, which is important. And I've done some stereo ASCII photography, and I failed to develop this poetic hardware that would empower you to see some new form of ASCII imagery in your subconscious. I don't know, it got really tricky, so I left it at a level of 3 graphics. I had a show once with these 3 in a gallery in Ljubljana, and the guy came in and bought them all away from me, so that's how I became a commercial artist as well, but never mind that right now. Okay, all of this is great, but so fucking what? It's some guy telling you of his heroic past. What's it got to do with you? What's it got to do with you? We don't know, let's find out. Let's see if this works. So, let's fast forward to our times. We've heard a series of massively impressive speakers just before, describing the world, describing their own projects about the world. The way I see our external reality is maybe possible to somehow squeeze into a distilled concept of transition to 0, pardon my brand language, where we're noticing that the society at large is now being transformed from a general command and pyramid structure towards something more similar to ecosystem. But this we know, we read about it everywhere a tiny little bit. We have new interdependencies between actors. We do not have anymore only predators and prey. Also, this whole deal with digital sphere requires new types of adaptability. Fine. This is all kind of connected to everything we know from before. One thing that I'd like to discuss here is this little concept. I like inventing words. This thing I call metastasi. Our German friends understand this right away. And it's about this shifting balance in transparency, where we have the actor, the state, that has this ability and the inclination to have full information about all other actors in the social arena. You have the media, they have the same tendency and they do it their own way. You have corporate sector, it's trying to do the same. And you have the public, thanks to Daniel, who is not in the room now, and thanks to all these beautiful people from WikiLeaks and other projects that are now empowering all of us to kind of step in this theater. And this thing, the thing you see here, except for Malta, is the thing that's really important, and our whole society is now undergoing a very important change, and we better think of this image when we consider our action. But there's more I would like to say. And now I become really boring. I like to talk about values. You see, in Greece, and Smari was showing Plato's little buste, and he was discussing the consequences of letting the politics to politicians. You see, when in Greece they came up with the concept of democracy, they also needed a word to describe a person who is not participating, and that's where we got the word idiot in the first place. It's, I think, quite precious to know of that, because it empowers you to discuss this shit with your friends who decide not to vote, for instance. All right? Let's see if this will work. Oh, amazing. You see, I've prepared this presentation today, and each time I tried it, the computer froze in the same spot. And now it happened again. This is great. Okay, so I will leave the presentation where it is. We can switch it off entirely. If you feel like it, can you just kill it? We don't need it anymore. The one thing I would like to conclude with, and I'm looking at this clock and it's telling me it's also about time to do that, is just 2 words of, advice from a senior citizen. 2 things that it would be good if you would do, And one is to simply try and learn and participate in the world around you. Don't leave it to the other guys, because it's gonna suck. And the second thing, I have a kid, so it teaches me things, is to try to teach the kids the tools and then try to hack them both, the kids and the tools. These are 2 very important things. You have to work on them. You have to believe in that. And this is how I want to wrap this today. And that's it from me. Thank you very much. There was great slides, but never mind. Okay. Oh, it's just. Oh. Ja.